everything and incorporating that into your day. Mindfulness, learning about that practice of just taking time to kind of absorb your environment. Or it could just be looking at, some pictures that kind of, like, we all love the Instagram, take us to a different location pictures.
Yes.
Some of those can be great to save and have a little board where you just take a mental vacation and you just go to those happy places and be able to kind of disconnect for a little bit and then step back into what you've done.
Everything. So making sure you're going to a therapist that specializes in anxiety and depression and trauma, whatever your issue is.
What is a makeup product that you can't live without?
Okay, 1 second that I just can't live without. It would have to be. Ooh, that's a hard one. Okay. Okay, so for me, that's another thing. Watch how she asked how I got into doing makeup. It would be concealer, because me personally, I could go without doing my makeup.
You kind of answered this question before, but what made you transition from being a stylist to a boutique owner?
The necessity. I mean, there are clients that are just not my people. They're just not my clients. And I am totally okay with that. Like, I don't have no problem with that. So what do you do? What do you do when your calendar is not booked? What do you do to take back control of your income and control of your life? You have to diversify.
You give other women taking time out for themselves.
Don't overthink it. Don't think that you just have to spend a bunch of money. I know that.
DeAndre Naira Artistry is just what you're looking for. From everyday glam to a gorgeous bridal look and everything in between. DeAndre Naira Artistry is here to give you the edge you need to stand out from the crowd. DeAndre Naira has been crafting looks for a long time. She loves helping people feel confident in their skin and showing them how amazing they really are. Book your glam spot today at deandrenaira.as.me or visit her on Instagram at DeAndreNaira_artistry.
Come on.
June, get ready. You going to your auntie's?
I don't want to go to my auntie's.
You're only going to be there a few hours.
No, I don't want to go there because my cousin always messes with me.
But tell his mama.
Hello, beauties and gents. Welcome to Bliss Unveiled Summit, Day 2, Beauty. Thank you all again for joining us. I am super excited about today because it is one of my favorite topics, which is beauty. Before we get started, I wanted to thank Miss DeAndre Naira. She's not going to be with us this evening, but we do know she's going to be here in spirit. So thank her again for being a part of this platform and leaving her knowledge. We will leave her information on the site and Instagram. You can still find out more about her on Instagram at Beauty and Me with Tina if you're looking to book with her. But we look forward to seeing her in the future. Now, before we get started, I have two amazing women that I'll be able to chat with and get some more insights and tips for you all on doing your makeup. And for gents, some things that you can do for your ladies if she wants to feel beautiful or if you need to go pick up some things for her, you know what to look for. So without further ado, I have Miss Melissa Richardson and Miss Jennifer Cutt.
Hi, how are y'all doing today?
Good
Hi,
evening,
ladies. How
all.
are y'all today?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so before we get into all the good stuff, Miss Jennifer, please tell our viewers about yourself.
Well, I am Jennifer Cook, the Triple C CEO, the one that consistently builds class, confidence, and courage, hailing from Charlotte, North Carolina. Originally born in New York, but migrated south probably about 24 years ago. And I fell in love with makeup because as a child growing up, no one in my house wore makeup. And I would go to events and see women so well put together. My interest grew. And then when I became an adult, I started to really play around with colors and trends and just exploring on different types of makeup that would be best suited for my age at that time. So now I represent the community of women that are 40 plus, but still want to look good, feel great, and just live that classy, confident, and courageous lifestyle.
I love it. I love it. I'm all for classy and courageous and having some class, but also adding color. Melissa, what about you? Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Melissa Richardson. I am born and raised in Athens, Georgia. So go Peach State. We love Georgia. I fell in love with makeup when I was a little girl. I always saw my sisters and my mom putting it on, and I just was just so excited by all the different colors and textures and just how you can enhance your beauty. So like I always would take their makeup and try to experiment on myself. So when I got older and I went to high school, I did everything. Like I just went to the store and just bought all the drugstore products and just tried every different color, every different texture. It just made me fall in love with makeup even more. My demographic is mainly gonna be, I would say, like 20 to 25-year-olds and under. So high schoolers, anybody who has confident issues, and mothers, new mothers, because it's such a big thing when you have a baby for the first time, or whether you're on your second, third baby, it's really hard to find that confidence again and really, uplift yourself. And for me, makeup is a very big part of that confidence booster. I stopped wearing makeup for a little bit after I first had my baby, but then I started getting back into it. And a lot of my clientels that were coming to me were new mothers also, and they were just telling me their stories about how they struggle with confidence. They didn't feel as pretty after they had a baby. And I'm all about that reassurance. You're going to be beautiful no matter what skin color, ethnicity, size you are. I'm always going to push that demographic of you're beautiful no matter what. Makeup is just enhancing the beauty that's already there.
I love that you said that. That is my big thing. I think everyone is beautiful in their own way, and makeup is definitely an enhancer. For a lot of women, including myself, I think it's a color thing, adding color and just being able to paint on yourself. I think your face is your canvas. So,
Yes.
Melissa, we're going to start with you first. When it comes to makeup, I know how you said you got into makeup. When it comes to makeup, what would you say was the easiest thing to learn?
I would say the easiest thing to learn would probably be like face based, like concealer and contour and stuff like that, because you're already just taking the colors that your face already has, like the light points of your face, the dark points of your face. It's easier to identify those first before you start with any other steps of makeup. Now, the hardest is definitely eyebrows. So I always people like, you have to practice with your eyebrows. Your eyebrows are not twins. They're close cousins. They're close cousins.
I like that. I'm gonna have to take that. They're not twins, they're close cousins. I really like that. Jennifer, what about you? What would you say is the hardest thing to learn first when it comes to makeup?
I would say proper lip application because each of us have different lip sizes. So one color may look great on a woman with fuller lips versus a woman with smaller lips. So now you got to get into basing the lips, putting a lip liner on, making sure that the lip liner and the lipstick or the lip gloss kind of like flows in together and looks really like uniform, because I've seen in some instances where you can tell where the line ends, begins, and that, depending on where you're going, it can be great. But I know for, most of us, the 40 plus generation, the corporate baddie, corporate executive, we want to try to keep a nice, smooth transition with our image. So I find that for a lot of women that I've encountered, it has always been the lipstick challenge.
Okay. That is something that I've noticed, especially when they started the whole duck lips using so I guess they're bowls or containers to make their lips fuller. That is something that I saw a lot of. How would a woman of our demographics, and I'm gonna ask about other colors as well, other races as well, but how would women of our demographic be able to identify what color looks best on them? Jennifer, I'm going to start with you.
Well, for one, I feel like you really need to play around with color and don't be afraid to experiment. But in our demographic, most of us either like a nice red, we like a nice neutral, like a brownish color, or we tend to go with a berry. So those I find are the three most common colors in our demographic. So now, depending on if you're a bronze woman and you are on the lighter spectrum, now you got to really kind of like, okay, do I want to go too nude because I don't want to be washed out? Or do I want a little pop of color? So it's I'm laughing because all throughout my years, it's like the women are come from different ends of the spectrum, and they really try to figure out, okay, if I'm going out for a night on the town, yeah, maybe I might go bold with some fiery red with an orange undertone, or during the day I want to wear red, so I might go with a blue undertone. So it kind of depends on a couple of things. One is where you're going. Two, the seasons, because our skin tones can change, based on the season we're in. And then, of course, I tell women, don't be afraid of color. Let it be your best friend. Worst case scenario, if you put on a lipstick that doesn't break, go get yourself a nice lip gloss to put on top. You'd be surprised what a lip
Right.
gloss can do to a lipstick that just when you put it on was like, mm-mm. But the moment you put that gloss on, like a nice clear shade or something with a little pearl in it, it changes the whole look.
That is very, very true. So, Melissa, what about you? What would be your advice on selecting, especially for your age group of women?
I, I would say for my age group, it definitely, a lot of my clients, they definitely are a little scared when it comes to color, just because they've had so many bad experiences, especially women of color and different ethnicities. They're so used to going in their makeup done and being casket ready. So they're like, color, isn't that just going to wash me out more? But along with what Jennifer was saying, seasons are very important. Seasons are going to make or break your lip look, because if you're in a warm season, season, like summer and spring. You know, sometimes depending on the place that you're going, the nude will work, but it'll just give more to the look, more of a pop if you go for those spring bright colors or those summery bronzy colors, those orange undertones. And then also, it depends on your undertone too. Your undertone does change no matter what the season is. And most of the time, depending on what shade you pick, the undertone could either wash you out, can make your skin pop. So color theory is going to be a big thing when it comes to choosing your lipstick, your lip liner, and even your lip gloss. I've had a lot of clients that have just gotten regular lipstick on their lips and they're like, I'm not really a lipstick person. I don't really like how this looks. And then I pair a lip liner or a lip gloss on top, and then they just fall in love. They're like, oh, I never thought red would look good on me. No matter how many different shades I tried on myself, it just doesn't look good. But then when they match that perfect lip liner or lip gloss, they fall in love with it. It's all about trial and error at the end of the day. You know, you can always try bold colors, but if you're very comfortable with nudes, you can do a nude and do a pop of color in the middle of the nude to give it just that extra oomph. You know, because my demographic, the type of customers that I have, they're, you know, younger, they're more out there, they like different hairstyles, different clothes. So you're basically whatever aesthetic that you're picking, hair and clothes wise, most of the time you're gonna wanna match your makeup and your lip to it.
That is very true. And I'm glad that I have different age groups on here. That way, women of all ages can see the different sides to makeup on different ends and kind of get an intel of, okay, this is what's going to look like when I'm younger. And then this is what I'm going to kind of go towards when I'm older. So I'm glad that I'm able to have both of you guys on here. And also, you said about red. Red is, it comes in a variety of shades. And I've seen a couple of things on TikTok that was mentioning that red don't look good on women of color. And as I can see on Miss Jennifer, that is a misconception,
Yeah.
even on myself. So I'm going to start with you, Melissa. What is your take on women of different colors as far as the red goes?
I feel like because I at one point was one of those people where I just thought like red could never look good on me. No matter how many different shades I bought, I just didn't like the outcome until I realized of layering. Just like how you can layer your face base and your eyebrows and all that stuff, you can layer lipsticks. So most of the time, I like, just for my skin tone, I like to layer like a berry red and then like an orangey red in the middle because that's just what brings out my skin tone. But most of the time, layering is going to be your best friend. If you don't want your lip
Right.
to just be one color and you want a little definition, a little extra oomph to your lips, you can do a darker red lip liner around and then do a lighter, more orangey in the middle. And then you could top it with like a red lip tint or a gloss on top. Some people like sparkly, the iridescent, and it just brings the lip alive. You can use whatever lip products that you use on your normal basis. You could even layer that on top of your reds, and most of the time people end up falling in love with the result.
That is, I have to try that. I like using lip liners and I love red lipsticks, but I also like using lip oils. They're coming in colors, so I love that combo. Miss Jennifer, what about you? What is your take on red lipsticks?
Well, for one, I saw exactly what you were talking about on social media, and I just had to laugh to myself because I was like, that is just one person's opinion, bottom line, right?
Right.
But I feel like red is a very powerful color. It's also an alluring color. So, for my single ladies out there, certain reds will attract someone toward you. But at the same time, it's like the young lady Melissa said, is, layering and playing around with different shades of red. And depending on who the manufacturer is, because different manufacturers use different ingredients to color code. So this is why it's so important that you play around with your colors, especially your reds. And you might even just want to explore different brands. Okay. Now, for me, I'm a Mary Kay girl. So a lot of my makeup, most of the time that people see, is Mary Kay. So, Mary Kay, we have matte lipsticks, we have cream lipsticks. So I play around with our different shades and different formulations. So this way, one day I might have on a red that looks almost like a pink, because of what I've done. It could have been that I put on pink fusion lip gloss on top of poppy seed red lipstick. So now it's giving me a totally different color. So it's just really playing around with the colors. Don't be afraid of red. In fact, make red your best friend. Have a couple of different shades of red: winter, spring, summer, fall. So that's the assignment, ladies. 4 shades of red in your arsenal. So throughout those various seasons, whether day or night, winter, spring, summer, fall, you have that in your cadre, and then you can just pull it out. And as Melissa said, layer it. Put on a nice lip gloss. You may want a clear lip gloss, or you may want a sparkly lip gloss, or you might want to put a matte lip gloss on, because I know a lot of people have challenges sometimes with keeping their lipsticks and lip gloss on. So you might want to wear
Yes.
something that's a little more matte, that's a little drier, you know. That's going to stay with you when you drink your water or coffee or eat a meal. You don't always want to have to like retouch. And
Yeah.
then another thing is, with my reds, I sometimes will put a translucent powder on top, because for me, it will set it in. Thank you, Melissa. She's giving me the nod.
Yeah,
You know,
I've done
it
that
it will
before.
yeah, it will set in. And then this way you're like, okay, you got what I call the perfect pout.
I like that. I like that. I like that. Now I have to try the translucent powder. I've never. I usually put my lip liner on in the middle to keep it longer. But I definitely have to try the translucent. And that's something new I have to try. So we went straight into lips. Lips are a big thing because even if you don't want to wear foundation, you throw on lipstick. So let me rewind back. When it comes to foundation, how what is the best way for a woman to know what her foundation color is? We're gonna start with you, Jennifer.
Well, I have it's like a tester. So I can actually put it on my client's face and see which one blends in best for them. But in most cases, if someone doesn't have that type of that doesn't have that ability, then I would say determine if your person is ivory, beige, or bronze, and then kind of start and try to get in the middle, get like a nice cool color, because a lot of women can go cool, but then you start to play with a little bit of your neutrals to see which one actually blends into the skin and becomes a part of them. Okay, so you never
Okay.
want to be able to tell where a woman's foundation stops, because when you do, more than likely she doesn't have the right color on. But if you can go on that jawline and that bad boy blends right into where you cannot tell, she selected the right one. So I will add this little nugget. You will need a foundation for spring and summer, and you will need one for fall and winter, because fall and winter you're less exposed to the sun, whereas in the spring and summer you're more exposed to the sun. So ladies, keep that in mind. Don't think it's one size fit all or one shade does it all for all 4 seasons, because that's not the case. But the main thing is taking that and maybe get 3 different foundations and just kind of do a little swipe test on your cheek, a nice little thin line, and see which one blends in the most to your actual natural color.
Okay. Melissa, your take on matching foundation, especially with having to, if you're contouring a lot, what would be the best way for the ladies in your generation as well?
Okay, so I'm the same way with my clientele. I always try different shades to see what matches them best, but undertone is going to be very important. Like you said, the seasons play a big part because if you look at your face is just not just one color. You're going to tell very fast that your neck doesn't match your face if you just try to use one foundation color for every single last season. Even if you do rely heavy on contour, you're still going to want to have multiple shades of foundation for whether it's daily, you're going out looks, you're just going to want to have those options. Of course, with like lighter and darker, most of the time, sometimes I mix the lighter and darker foundations together because sometimes with our type of skin type, like people have different type of skin types, so the makeup's gonna lay on their face completely different than other people. Like who have combination skin, and then people who have like drier or oilier skin. I noticed that certain clients and certain brands play a big part in foundation matching. And then also your base. Your prep is going to be a big part of your foundation match too. And then what tools you use to blend out your foundation also. There's some people who really like to use their fingers to blend out foundations. And most of the time it's going to be those light to medium coverage foundations that a lot of people use their hands for. And then you use a brush or a beauty blender for like a medium to heavier coverage foundation. I noticed that plays a big part. And then also going back to brands, whether your foundation oxidizes or not. Now, oxidizing foundation, that is very important because of the different formulas from different brands of foundations. It might go on one color, but then it'll oxidize, and what you thought originally was your shade might not actually be your shade because you put it on your skin, you wait for a couple of seconds, and then it oxidizes and it no longer matches your skin tone. So you always want to make sure that you pay attention to how your foundation sits on top of your skin. Because, like I said, we don't want our neck and our face to be two different shades. We want them to look like, wow, that's your skin.
So you mentioned oxidization, and I had a horror story. So a couple of years back, I wasn't thinking about it. You know, you're in a rush and you're like, okay, I'm just looking for something new. I'm gonna try this new brand out. And I ordered this foundation, and it didn't mention anything about oxidation or so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get my shade and I'm gonna test this out because I'm looking for something new. I put it on, it looks great on my skin. Like maybe an hour later, I was a completely different shade. And I was like, what happened? I was like, I didn't think to wait and see when it dried when I tested it on myself before I could put it on. How can women, because sometimes companies do not mention that their makeup oxidized, they don't make any mention of it. How can women try it without walking around with two different tones on, if you get what I'm saying, instead of going on what I did? How can they go ahead and decide, okay, this is my shade. When it oxidizes, I need to either go a shade up or I need to go a shade down. So I'm going to start
I
with
would
you,
say,
Miss Jennifer.
Well, I would honestly recommend, especially, if you're trying a new shade, get a sample first, okay? If you can order a sample without getting the full size and then realizing, oh my gosh, this isn't the right match, I always recommend getting a sample first. When you get that sample, honestly and truly take some time to apply the sample in the privacy of your own home and see what happens, before you do run out the door. See, in your case, Tina, you didn't have time to do that. You had to like put your face on and skedaddle. But
And get it
if a
go.
woman can, yeah, if a woman can allot time, just use a little bit on your face, maybe while you're walking around the house, cleaning up or whatever, and test it that way because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So So,
Very true.
that's
Very true.
basically, my take on it is if you can get a sample, try the sample. Try not to buy foundation or any makeup in a hurry, okay, ladies? Because so many women have purchased products, and if you go to their bathroom right now, it's a cosmetic store, okay? So, really, if you're going to invest, take your time and properly invest and try your products. So, if you can get samples, see what it looks like, try it on for a day or two. Because the funny part is this, ladies, and I'll make you laugh. You could put on foundation, and on a sunshine day, your skin is going to respond to that foundation differently than on a rainy day. Did you know that? And then depending on if you are normal, dry, combination, oily, foundation is going to respond differently. So that's why I encourage people, try the samples first. Order yourself a sample. And most brands now are providing samples because everybody wants to be number one in the game. And you don't want the reputation of selling bad foundation. So if you can get a sample first, if you're not in a hurry, try it on in the privacy of your own home and give it at least, 30 minutes, an hour to see what the difference is.
Very true. Melissa, what about you? Because, like I said, except like Miss Jennifer said, don't go rushing out and just throwing it on. What about what about you? How would they be able to tell, like, hey, it's done changed. How do I go up? Do I go up a shade or do I go down a shade? Because I've noticed some uh brands, even though if it oxidizes darker on you, sometimes even if you go a shade lighter, you may have to go down like 2 notches.
Yeah. Okay, so I will agree with what you were saying about sampling, travel size. Don't spend all your money all at once on a product that you're not too sure of. So even if you get a sample of travel size, it's not too big of a loss. But that made me think of, there was a trend going around on TikTok where it was called shower makeup. So basically, before you get in the shower, if you have any new products or anything like that, you could try it on your face, do whatever you want on your face, because you're going to get in the shower and you're going to wash it off anyway, to see how it's laying on your skin, to see how it's setting on your skin, give it a chance to feel it out, test it out before, make some big decisions. And you're like, okay, now I'm going to an event, taking pictures, and you could see that my face is not matching my neck. And then also what she was saying about weather. Weather takes a big toll on how long you wear your makeup, the environment that you're going in, and then also your base and your setting. If you're not setting your face or taking the proper prepping face steps, then your makeup might wear off or react differently because of that. So it's very important to always keep in mind of your environment, the steps that you take throughout makeup, all of that is very important. And then also, I've had a few instances where I've tried new products and I was in a rush and I went out and I was looking crazy. The only ways that I have fixed that is I usually take a concealer either 2 times lighter or 2 times darker. Use the 2 times darker one as a contour, and then use the 2 times lighter underneath your eyes, so it kind of like balances that funny looking, how it's sitting on your face, how it's not matching your neck. You kind of just blend different colors, kind of use color theory to kind of fix it a little bit until you at least get home and you can figure it out. Because when you're out, you only have your makeup bag, you're rushing to an event, there's not really, you can't just wipe your face off and just start over from scratch. You just kind of gotta fix what you already have working on your face until you at least get home and you're like, okay, well, I know for future reference that this company might not favor for my skin tone, or I might have gotten the wrong shade.
Okay. So we have a question here. What about makeup companies like Il Makiage that's supposed to match your shade? Um, Melissa, let's start with you.
Okay, so
What do
I
you
know
think about the perfect
exactly.
match?
I know exactly what brand that is. I've personally shopped from that brand, and I was very curious about it. A lot of my clients kept bringing it up to me, and they're like, should I try this? I've been seeing it all over social media. Does it really work? So I was like, okay, well, the only way I'll be able to really tell them is if I try it for myself. So I did the test, found my color match. But see, the tricky thing about color matching online is they want you to put in pictures or photos of your face or your skin for them to get a match of the foundation. And depending on what lighting you took that picture or video in, or whether you're outside in environment or you're inside, the lighting's going to be completely different. And they're basing it off of the photo that you're sending. So most likely it's not gonna match your shade because it's not real time shade matching. So you got to be really careful about like online shopping where they're picking your shades for you, because it's all about what you're giving them, what photos you're giving them, what videos you're giving them. Because you might just be having a really good skin day in that picture. The sunlight might be beaming a little more, your lighting, your camera lighting might be a little better, your skin looks glowy, and then when they send you the foundation, it's too yellow or has too much of an orange undertone or has too much of a red undertone. So you just really have to be careful with stuff like that. It's just so much better, and it's also a funner experience if you actually go to a retail makeup store and actually swatch the colors on your skin, swatch them on your face, swatch them on your neck, so you can get the real sense of the undertones and whether it matches your skin tone or not.
Ms. Jennifer, any takes on the perfect matching from online shops like Ermitage?
Well, I 100% endorse Melissa's message is that, those things can be a little sketchy. So I personally encourage every woman, go have a perfect match appointment. As she said, go to a department store, depending on where your ladies are located, you can always, reach out to an independent beauty consultant, somebody who can come into your home, or a makeup artist who can really help you find the foundation that's best for you, because everything is trending right now, and the moment stuff becomes trendy, everybody wants to jump on it, but then you find yourself not 100% satisfied in your online purchase. So I am in 100% support of what Melissa said, is really going somewhere, and having them match you up. But then also keep in mind as well, ladies, and I'll go back to this, is the brands. Each brand has different formulations. So Mac may look different on you than Bobby Brown, okay? Tom Ford may look different on you than Mary Kay. So, find the foundation that you feel most comfortable with, that you can stay with, okay? Because if you start jumping around from foundation to foundation, you're going to find that each of them do look different.
That is so, so true. From a person that likes playing in makeup, it is very, very, very true. Um, Sorry, someone just said, hold on, Tom Ford has makeup.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
A
You
lot of
have to
these
go.
brands and designers. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
well, you
sorry.
have to go to your higher end stores like Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Belk, the higher end stores. They do have Tom Ford Foundation. And for you ladies that are in Florida, I mean, not Florida, excuse me, in Georgia, head on over to Phipps Mall, or
Oh, yeah.
Lenox. You can definitely find you some Tom Ford over there.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of the designers they now have, or they've had it, but it's more popular now. They have their own makeup brands. Do you think that leads into my next conversation actually? Do you think that the price of a makeup brand or makeup in general makes a difference if it's going to be better or not? Jennifer, let's start with you.
I laugh at that because what you're actually paying for most of the time, ladies, is the name, and you're paying for the package. okay? Because unless they have actually worked with a dermatologist or somebody specializes in foundation formulation, which hopefully they have, more than likely the price that you're paying is for the name and the packaging. I've tried different foundations. Now, yeah, they're texture wise, they may be a little bit different, but it doesn't warrant such a significant price gap, I should say, because most women, you want a foundation, whether in the corporate office or whether out on the basketball court hanging out with your girlfriends. Everybody wants flawless looking skin, and they try to achieve that by wearing good foundation. So it just really, you're paying for most of the time the name and the packaging, okay?
Melissa, what about you? What do you think about, uh, excuse me, paying a higher price for better makeup or paying a lower price for better makeup? What is your take on that?
I feel like what Miss Jennifer was saying is very true, that most of the time you are paying for the packaging or the name brand, because as someone who's tried a lot of different high end and low end brands, to me, I feel like it's very important, like application is very important, because I've had higher end makeup that I've tried with application not be as good as drugstore makeup. I really feel like it depends on your skin type, it depends on the person, and then also it just depends on how like your skin reacts to the products. Like it just depends like on the tools that you're using or who you're going to, whether you're going to a well-known makeup artist or you're going to like a smaller, more small business type makeup artist. I feel like it's about the person who's doing it. You don't have to spend any type of money, like any expensive amount of money to look beautiful. Cuz I know everybody wants that looks like skin finish, but also what we have to remind ourselves about our skin is that skin is made to be imperfect. We are not perfect. Our skin is not perfect. Our eyebrows aren't perfect. Nothing is perfect about us. So us looking towards that like perfect skin finish isn't really realistic for real, especially if you're going to places or doing events to where you're going to be in front of a camera. There's going to be a different type of lighting. You're going to take pictures, whether it's professional or unprofessional. Your skin's going to look how it looks, no matter if you use that $3 sign foundation or that $1 sign foundation. It just depends on the person, depends on the application, the money. It's materialistic at the end of the day.
That is so, so true. I I have used both as well, and there is I'm trying to think of the brand while you were talking. Believe is a brand, and there I believe it belongs to Dollar General. But they have
I've
some of the
tried.
best mascara that I have seen in a long, long time, and it's very cheap. So I'm not. I'm like I'm all about. I like my name brands too, but they can compete with some of the high ends with no problem and be very affordable for the everyday woman. So I completely agree with both of you ladies that price doesn't matter. It's the product itself and the hands that put it on, of course. So I'm enjoying this conversation. I wish we had more we had more time. But what is before we go, because I don't know, this conversation is getting really good and time just seems to be flying by really fast. Before we go, Jennifer, we're going to start with you. What is your definition of beauty?
My definition of beauty is having that inner glow that shines from the inside out, because you can have a person who is drop dead gorgeous, but if they have a horrible attitude and mindset, they become a very ugly person. And so not only am I a person that's into beauty aesthetics, but I'm also into soul vibration and how people present themselves to the world, because it's what makes you truly attractive and beautiful. And you just want to make sure that you harness the inside and then you begin to work on the outside. You'll be able to choose the right colors. You'll be able to have that feminine, divine energy flowing your veins and coming out of your conversations that's drawing people into your space. So to me, that is the pure definition of beauty. But from the beauty industry standard, I tell people, make sure you are properly taking care of your skin. Get yourself an awesome skincare regimen, because beautiful ladies, Melissa and myself and Tina, we can gussy you all up. But if you are not properly taking care of your skin with great quality skin care, you're doing yourself a disservice. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, getting all of your vegetables, making sure that you're exercising, you're meditating. All of this contributes to pure beauty.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. Melissa, what about you? What is your definition of beauty?
My definition of beauty is the type of person you are and the spirit that you carry. If you carry yourself with a very powerful spirit and you hold yourself at high standards, even on those low days. I know we have low days, we have high days, but always giving yourself attention, whether it's self care, your skin, your body, just taking care of yourself overall is going to be extremely important. Keeping up with your confidence, and confidence can mean so many different things for so many different people, but I know that there's so many different points as being a woman, whether you're younger or older, that we struggle with our confidence. We struggle with our image of what we think beauty is, especially in this day and age where social media is a very big part of everything. Keeping in mind of how you see yourself is such a big point. And also, who you're surrounding yourself around is also very important. Even the single ladies, if you're thinking about getting a relationship and stuff like that, you have to put your confidence and your self-love at a higher standard. You can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. You won't feel like you're beautiful if you rely on someone to constantly tell you you're beautiful or tell you look beautiful. You need to tell yourself that you are beautiful. And beauty, there's no one true definition to beauty. Beauty is whatever it means to you. Whatever you see yourself as, however you feel, that's going to be the most important part in how you see yourself beauty wise.
I love it, love it, love it, love it. That is the best way to put it. Both of you ladies, like you all said, there's no wrong or right to beauty, but beauty do come from within. And Melissa, like you said, if you don't love yourself or see yourself as beautiful, you're not gonna get it from anyone else. You don't want to be able to get tricked into what someone else's definition of beauty is. It helps you get to know yourself better as long as you see yourself as beautiful. And again, it goes from working from within. Once you get that internal verification that you're beautiful on the inside, you have that great spirit, you have that great energy. It shows on the outside. Your energy attracts people. The way you move attract people. You can think you're having the worst day and someone will just find you as absolutely gorgeous. Even if you're out in your sweatpants and you just feel like you just roll out of bed to go to the store, just because you are absorbing that radiance of beautifulness from the inside, someone else will see you beautiful, and it will make it less likely for you to be tricked from someone else telling you that you're beautiful just because it seems beneficial for them. So, ladies, please, I hope both of these wonderful women have been able to at least left some impression on you, some great gems, because I know I've learned a few things myself, and I've been playing with makeup and dealing with makeup for a while, so I've learned a couple of things myself. Ladies, before we go, what is one quote that you would want ladies to go by? Melissa, we'll start with you.
I would say don't overthink too much of simple things, some simple things in daily life. No matter how hard things get, you should never give up no matter what. That is so important. And when I mean give up, I mean in different aspects, whether it's with your job, you don't want to give up, your career, you don't want to give up. If you want to go back to school, don't give up those dreams, keep going. Even giving up on yourself. Mental health is such a big part of everybody's lives nowadays. And it's so easy, especially as women, whether you're working, whether you're in healthcare, whether you have kids, no matter what walk of life you come from, you need to always put your mental health first, because how your mental health is, it's going to determine how you handle a lot of situations in your life. You don't give up on yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. It will be very hard for you to give up with everything else that you're striving for. Those goals, don't give up. No matter what, don't give up. Even if the bad days are so bad, do not give up no matter what.
I love it. Ladies, remember, don't give up and keep moving forward. Keep pushing forward. It's a new year, so you want to keep going. We're just getting started. Miss Jennifer, what about you? What is the quote that you would like ladies to follow?
I came across something just the other day, and it said, in a world full of trends, I want to remain a classic. And ladies, I believe what that is saying to us is remain true to yourself, be authentically you, love the skin that you, and don't buy into all of the things that are out there, but buy into yourself, vibe on a different level that you can look that woman in the mirror every day and smile back at her and say, hey girl, I love you. I love you just the way you are, imperfect. I love you. And together we're going to do this thing. So remember, in a world full of trends, just remain classic.
Love it, love it, love it. Melissa, Jennifer, thank y'all so much for being on tonight. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and dropping some gems for our followers and our viewers, and just even teaching me a couple of things. So I'm very happy with everything that is going on. I hope everyone has had a wonderful new year. We gotta do this again because I really like this. We gotta get more in depth in this conversation. So we're gonna plan for something later on in the future because I really like this conversation to take it a little bit further. But ladies, again, thank you so much, beauties and gents. That is it for tonight. We are coming to an end of day 2 of Bliss Unveiled Virtual Summit. Beauty, Miss Melissa and Miss Jennifer have definitely left some gems for us. Join us again tomorrow at 6 p.m. for our last night of Bliss Unveiled. We're going to be dealing with fashion, and we have some amazing ladies. Actually, Miss Jennifer will be back on with us tomorrow. She's on the other side as well with fashion. So, again, everyone have a wonderful evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye, beauties and gents.
Square breathing and incorporating that into your day. Mindfulness, learning about that practice of just taking time to kind of absorb your environment.
You kind of answered this question before, but what made you transition from being a stylist to a boutique owner?
The necessity. I mean, there are clients that are just not my people. They're just not my clients. And I am totally okay with that. Like, I don't have no problem with that. So what do you do? What do you do when your calendar is not booked? What do you do to take back control of your income and control of your life? You have to